Hello and welcome to Creating Happy. I am Gabriella Rosie and today we're going to be talking about art and money, because I don't think we can ever talk about art without also talking about money. They're just two really connected subjects with a lot of controversy around them and a lot of heavy weightedness, but also a lot of excitement and a lot of opportunity, depending on which way you look at it. So I just want to give you my current end of the spectrum when it comes to art and money, and I guess have a little bit of a chat about how it shows up in the world right now. I have quite a lot of conversations with beautiful people who really want to pursue their art and their creativity and their passion, but the question of money is always going to come up, and often in the start at least, money can feel like a barrier. People feel like they can't do what they really want to do because either they don't have enough money to do it, or they feel like they don't have enough money to do it, or they feel like there's not going to be that much money from it. So they want to be a writer, but they don't have enough money to devote enough time when they need to be working to have money and pay rent and all of that fun adult stuff. But then that stops them from doing that stuff that generates the money, and they also have the barrier that they believe that maybe they won't be able to make enough money from doing what it is that they want to do to even have it as like a long-term career or have it as the thing that they do with the majority of their time. And I get that. Like, I get it for sure. I think that first of all, we don't realize how much is actually available out in the world for us to acquire. And that is very much about being aware of the sheer abundance of stuff that is out there, okay? Whenever I feel like maybe I won't make enough money from paintings, or if certain blocks around that come up, like, dude, have a look at the recent art auctions and you'll see things that are selling for $150 million, and then it suddenly becomes like totally feasible that you can sell a painting for a few $1,000s. It's so available. And also, because your creativity is so specialized and unique, nobody else has the option to make it, which I'll talk about a little bit more in depth, but that's the whole thesis of this subject. I don't think that we can have a conversation about creativity without also talking about money. So I want to get into this topic quite early on in the podcast because I have a feeling, I know, that we're going to be talking about money a lot, and it's going to come up a lot because the reality of the situation is we are living in the modern world, and we're gonna want money and need money, and you also deserve to have money from the things that you create. I truly believe that creatives deserve to get paid for the things that they make because no one else can make them. The things that you make are so specialized and so unique and so needed in this world that you deserve to be handsomely credited for them. Okay, so first of all, when we're talking about all of this stuff, we need to discuss money beliefs, because I'm sure you've probably heard or read or whatever on some stuff about money beliefs already, but they are damn important stuff to analyze and to be aware of if you want to be in a position where you're making the dollar bill. And side note, any negativity that you might be feeling about wanting to have money, or how you might judge other people if they want to have money, or how you feel about rich people or poor people in society, all of these things, all of these ideas that you have form your money beliefs. We'll have ones that can be helpful and ones that can be hindering. But either way, whether you're aware of them or not, they will all stand as kind of a guiding force to get you to eventually earn as much money as you do. I'm sure you've heard the thing that like your income, your salary for the year will be the average of like the 5 people that you hang around with, which is scarily true, and which is why I'm constantly up leveling the people in my life But these money beliefs and these ideas around money that we each hold, they basically stand as a guiding force to how much money we allow ourselves to create, how much money we feel comfortable creating and holding. So if you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, it can either make you feel panicked that you need to have more in there, or it can feel like a crazy amount and you just go on a shopping spree and you need to use that money up because it can feel quite stressful to have that amount of money. So all of these beliefs, all of these ideas that you hold about money, they are either going to help you or hinder you in making money in any way. So whether you choose to make money in a more traditional sense through your job, or if you want to make money through your creativity, it's super duper important that you get to know what your money beliefs are. And I think especially when it comes to pursuing your creativity and generating money in your own way. You know, if you're self-employed, you are literally your own guiding force. You hold the cap and the limit on how much money you can create. And dude, we can't just allow that to be up to chance or subject to the money beliefs that we've just sucked in from our environment and our surroundings and our family as we've grown up. We can actually create our own money beliefs and develop them to be things that help us. And because money is generally such a loaded topic, a lot of the times people think that bad thing to have lots of money, or it means someone's greedy or whatever, which in itself is a negative money belief, and that is going to stop you from making as much money as you want. But it's disregarding all the people who've got so much money are doing really, really powerful things in the world. And also the fact that really amazing creative people have so much money allows them to create even more stuff. So even just the fact that you are able to make enough money from your creativity, you can do good things with it and put that in beautiful places in the world and towards charities and things that you believe in. And it also allows you the freedom of your own lifestyle. It allows you to create more of the things that you believe the world needs. Simply put, we need money to be able to create the things that we want and to continue creating them, and we deserve to get compensated for that. So I think definitely reconciling that thought, or working towards reconciling the idea that you are allowed to get money for what you create and you deserve to get money for what you create, is a big game changer. I recommend Jen Sincero's books. You Are a Badass at Making Money is beautiful little quick snappy read. Also Gala Darling's work around money and manifesting is a really beautiful, interesting alternative take to the mainstream. She talks a lot about manifesting rituals and other things that you can do beyond the physical generation of the money. It's a lot of the mindset side of it. And also Sarah Aquazombi's Money and Manifesting School is really beautiful. She goes super deep into what it means to have certain money mindsets and how we can have more empowering beliefs around money and how we create it. I think a lot of the blocks that we have as like a collective group of people when it comes to creative people making lots of money or any money and why we feel it feels like a scary thing for someone to go full-time in their art or their creativity. It feels like a big risk. It feels like the not safe option compared to getting a salary job where you work for someone else and there's a certain level of assumed security that goes around that. Whereas when you work for yourself or you work in a creative field, there's creativity with it, there's freedom with it, there's expansion with it. So the realm of it is very uncertain, and a lot of what we thrive for in our modern societies is certainty. We like to be able to have a paycheck that's coming in every 2 weeks or every month, and we know what money's going to come in. But that also can be very limiting because it will only ever be that amount of money or something very close to it. Whereas when you are a creative person or you're working for yourself or you're an entrepreneur, there is no bounds on that. But going down another tangent. My point, what I was trying to get to, that we feel quite nervous for people sometimes when they're going to be pursuing their passion or their creativity because of the uncertainty and because of the way that as people get older they start to perceive creativity and creative people. As we grow up, we step away from our creative sides. In school, we are taught to pursue things that we're good at and things that are seen as beneficial to our society or things that will lead us to traditionally high-paying jobs. And as you go through schooling, I don't know if it was the same experience for you, but I was someone who always enjoyed art and always had enjoyed the creative subjects, so it was something that I pursued further and as a result got better at. But then more and more people kind of dropped off from it and didn't want to pursue it because they weren't necessarily the best in the class or there were other people better than them. So it seemed like it wasn't really worth the risk of pursuing it because there's going to be people who are better at it than them. Even though when it comes to creativity, no one's better than no one, because that's the whole point. So as we define people within the larger scale of our society, so when we look up to people who are really successful creative people, we see them as elite. We see them as really quite different from normal people, that they have a talent and a skill that was innate. We have the stories that are so ingrained into our society of people being born with a certain skill or having an overnight success with it or touching a guitar and they just knew how to play it fluently, when the reality of it is that is not true at all. There are so many stories about like Jimi Hendrix, who's just where they completely downplay all of his talent and his skills by saying that he could pick up a guitar and play the most beautiful things just like that, and he could only do that because he spent all of his time practicing and learning how to play the guitar. So when he did pick it up when he was on stage or with people, then obviously he could play pretty well because of all of the practice and all of the work that's gone in. So in our society, when we look up to people and we see them as talented and we see, okay, cool, like Beyonce earns that much money for doing shows because she's Beyonce, when in reality she earns that much money because she spent this many years building and working on her career and her talents and her skills. She wasn't just born with them, she was born with a beautiful voice, but so many people are born with a beautiful voice and they don't turn into Beyonce. Dare I say that there are singers out there who are better than Beyonce, but they are not at the height of talent that she's reached through the sheer practice and dedication to it that she's achieved. So because we start to hold these beliefs that only certain people are creative or talented enough to do it well, and only those people can earn money from it or earn a living from it or have that as their job, we hold people back from going towards it and investing their time into developing the skills that they'd actually need to be at that level. And when we pigeonhole these people into being talented or whatever it may be, we actually make them different and other from ourselves or than the general community, and that makes their achievements unattainable. But all those people that we look up to, who we see as different from the normal people, they're actually the same as us, and it's only in following and investing in their creativity that they've been able to reach that next level of it. So the difference between us and the people who are at the top of their field is only an illusion. They only got to the top of the field because of all the work that they did. We're all human beings. We all do the same stuff, really. When it comes down to it, it's just where you dedicate your time and your abilities, and when you keep your abilities in line with what you're really into, that's when you're able to like double down on that stuff and really go deep into developing a skill into something. When we look at the people who excel, they tend to have like an affinity for something. So they'll tend to have been really into comedy their whole life and always been that person who was making people laugh when they were younger, or musicians will have always like had a love for music from when they're young. Simply because that existed didn't make them into the position that they are now. It was having that like innate passion for something and then committing to developing it that allowed them to get to the level where they're able to generate large sums of money for it, and people are very, very happy to give them money for their work because we know that it's valuable. So I think when we look through our own lives and we see the things that we're naturally drawn to and passionate about, imagine if we like doubled down and went hard on those and really invested our time and our energy and our money into those things, how much we'd be able to elevate our skill and our talent levels at them. Because not only would we be putting the energy in, but we can put more energy into it because we're obsessed with it, because we love that thing. That's what lets you get to the heights where money is able to flow easily to you, because people want the things. People want things that are made and created at that beautiful high height of them. And that's kind of why it's hard. It is hard to make money from your creative passions because you can't really get an entry-level job in it. You have to go through a certain period of time where you're improving your skills and developing them to a level that not everybody has, so that you're at a level where people are willing to pay you for that skill level. Do you know what I mean? If you were just creating something that anybody could create, why would you pay for it? Whereas if you think about the things that you see and you immediately want to buy, if there's a book and it suits all of your interests and the writer speaks in a way that hits home with you, we are so happy. We will immediately add that to cart. We will immediately pre-order that, because those things are made at the height of someone's abilities. When they've really been able to narrow down in them, we give money to them. We were so happy to give money to them. So I think those first few years, or however long it might be, varies for each person, but that first trip into creativity and trying to sell your stuff or trying to make some money from your creativity, it can be hard because there is no guaranteed paycheck, there is no guaranteed amount of money that you will make from it. But it's the level of perseverance that you have in developing your own skills and developing your offerings to people that's gonna be the game changer in whether you can make a career out of it. But at the end of the day, it still is just going to come down to how much effort and how much work and how much dedication you have to your creativity. And dude, I know that I said so much. It's so boring how much people say it's all about hard work and dedication and commitment. But it is literally the answer. It's the fucking answer. We can't just wake up and decide we want to do something and people will be like, oh yeah, cool, I'll pay you for your book that you haven't written, or that like you just word vomited onto a Google Doc and didn't even publish online or talk to anyone about or share anything for. No, you have to let people know about what you're creating, and you have to create at a high level, you know? Not only is the opportunity to create money with our creativity an option, it has never been more available than it is right now. There are no gatekeepers. You have the ability to share whatever you want, whenever you want online, pretty much for free, and build the audience of people who are gonna love and be attracted to your work naturally. Yeah, I know there's the freaking algorithm and whatever, and it can take more effort to reach people, but it's still available. This has never existed before in the history of all mankind. I can make a video and put it online for free and share it with people, and they can listen to it and watch it and share these ideas with me and be able to connect with me in a new way. Dude, this is magic. This is magic that we are living right now. All of the gateholders, all of the people who would have to approve you sharing your art online, sharing your creativity, sharing your writing, sharing videos, sharing music, whatever it might be, all of those people who you'd have to prove yourself to do not exist anymore. You only have to prove it to yourself. which might be the hardest thing to do, because you have to believe in yourself enough to work and work really hard at it, despite maybe not having much or if any feedback from people who are higher up in your industry. You know what I mean? Maybe before there was like record executives that was like, I see something in you, you can go far. Whereas now it's just, you have to believe in yourself enough to keep sharing your music and keep attracting the people who will love it without having that gatekeeper. So I get that gatekeepers can sometimes be helpful for guiding or providing that validation, whereas now it's our responsibility to provide that validation for ourselves, to believe that what we create is good enough to pay us, to feed us, to pay our bills. And the fact of the matter is that robots and automation are going to be taking over the majority of jobs in the world over the next 50 or so years. I don't know, but they are. So a lot of things are becoming outdated. More and more jobs each year are becoming unnecessary. More and more people have got degrees, so it's just normalized to have a degree and it's not really an advantage, because it's just the regurgitating of more information which computers can do more and more readily. So it's actually becoming that creativity always is and always will be our strongest asset as human beings. No one who's ever lived before and ever will live again will ever have the same kind of makeup as you, have the same interests and skills and voice. There's no one else who can ever create exactly what it is that you feel pulled to create, or that you have the abilities and inclination to create. And I think for that alone, you deserve to get paid for it. I don't know, I find it really interesting. There's the quote in Dead Poets Society where Robin Williams' character is saying, oh my god, all of this stuff like, it's not saying, all of these things like law and economics and stuff are needed to, I'm just gonna look up the quote. Dead Poets Society, this is the quote. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. It's just beautiful. It's really easy to see art and creativity as something that's not needed in society, something that isn't a requirement for people to have in their lives. So why would they pay for it? Why would they give you money for it when it's not a needed thing? But if that was the case, wouldn't all the biggest businesses just be selling only the required things instead of all of the ridiculous but amazing range of things that are available? Think of how much money you spend on things that beautify your life and inspire you, all the media that we consume, the movies that we watch and the books we read and the things that we have decorating our homes. They are what enrich it. These are the things that deserve to be created and deserve to exist in our lives, and you need to make them and you need to get paid to make them. That is my general rant on art and money. I would love to know what you think about the topic. If you think creatives should be able to get as much money as they want from what they create, or if there needs to be certain boundaries on it, or who deserves to get money, or what you feel your own money beliefs are. I would love to hear what you think, and if you have any money beliefs around art and creativity and what that means to be a person in this society, making money or needing money to live. It's a ridiculously interesting subject that I will never stop talking about. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creating Happy, and I'll be back again soon with another one. Remember that you can be, do, and have everything that you desire. Bye.